everybody. What's going on? Welcome. Just a second here. I gotta this. There's a setting I forgot to use. Ooh, there we go. That's what I wanted. Hey, what's happening? What's doing? What's shaking? This is episode 115 of McRae Live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. The day today is, what is it today? It's Wednesday. That's right. It's a unusual Wednesday show. I don't usually do these shows on Wednesdays. It's Wednesday, October the 21st, 2020, 11:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys are all doing well and hanging in. It has been incredibly busy for me as of late, but I gave you guys the heads up. I did. I said when the Indiegogo campaign for It's Me, Billy finished, I gave you the heads up and said that things are going to be busy over these next few months, and they have been. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, and when a movie moves into pre-production, you don't hear. The news tends to be very far and few between, right? With little tidbits of information going on. And I got a message from somebody. It was Chris says, "Good morning, Dave. Are you a coffee guy?" No, I fucking hate coffee. I haven't had a coffee, and when I say had a coffee, I mean a sip of coffee, in about 20 years. I can't stand the taste of coffee. I've never acquired a taste for it. I think it's disgusting. But that's me. So I had somebody reach out to me the other day and said, they were like, "What's going on, man? Like, what's happening with this movie? You raise all this money and then you just don't have a fucking movie?" If this individual was in the same room with me, I'd slap them in the face back and forth like Daffy Duck slaps people in the face. There's an episode of Looney Tunes, not the old school Looney Tunes, but like a sitcom kind of show from 2011, where Daffy Duck is at the doctor and he just slaps the doctor in the face. And it does come out of nowhere. It's hilarious. And the doctor's like, "Why'd you do that?" And Daffy Duck's like, "I don't know. You just have a slappable face." I'm pretty sure this person has a slappable face. Now, not everybody knows how this works, and I understand that. I get it. Not everybody knows how it works. And, it's understandable. I get it. No, we haven't raised the money and then are just sitting on our asses doing nothing. This is the moment you've given us. You guys are making this a reality. You guys are making this possible. You guys are funding It's Me, Billy. And so what happens is that you guys did your job, right? You've passed the torch on to us, and now we take it and we're like, okay, now we got to do our job. And that's what we've been doing. But when a movie's in pre-production, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes every single day. I'm talking to Bruce every single day, 3 or 4 times a day. And whether that's on the phone, through text, through emails, there's a list of things that we're doing and handling and people we're talking to, and it's intense. It's very intense. And the perfect example of that is the other day on Monday, myself and Bruce and our DP Greg Bennett and our key grip and our gaffer, we all went up to the location. Now, the location is about a 4.5-hour drive away from Toronto. So that's a 4.5-hour drive there, a 4.5-hour drive back. So that's a total of 9 hours of driving. And we also spent about 5.5 hours at the location. So that's why, again, there was no 2 dudes and some bullshit this Monday, because the last thing I want to do when arriving, and I didn't get home till like 11 o'clock at night. So I wouldn't have been able to do the show even if I wanted to. But it's the reason why I didn't have a McRae Live yesterday, because I was just too tired. It's a lot of, it's not just the driving, it's the mental, you're mentally tired, not just from the driving, but you're mentally exhausted from the intensity of the subject matter for which you're talking about. And, because we are the directors, because we are the producers, because we are the writers, it can get even a little more intense for people in our position, because we're handling a lot of different things. You know what I mean? For a production assistant to hang out we didn't have any on set or at the location on Monday. But for a PA, it might not be as mentally as exhausting, right? Because they don't have to think about 500,000 things. And so it's just too tiring. But we went to the location. We needed to do that. Bruce and I obviously went to the location in the summer, but this time we had to go up with our keys, our key grip, our gaffer, and our DP, which was really, really important. So they had the opportunity to see the location. Because again, if all things move well and there aren't any issues, we are essentially 1 month away from principal photography now. Now, there will be an official announcement on that later in the week, but it's getting really, really serious now. And it was great being up there with them, walking through the location, walking through the house. I have some photos here, actually. I wanted to show you guys. And they are... where are they? Let's see here. Can you guys still hear me? You should be able to still hear me. Hopefully there's no echo or anything. So this picture here that you're seeing, this is from the other day. This is from Monday. This is Bruce showing Nikita, who is our gaffer, and the gentleman on the right holding the pad and pen in his hand. He is Naz, or Nazari, who is our key grip. And Bruce is going over... We're standing in the living room here, and Bruce is going over sort of the blocking and what we imagine in terms of the shot. Well, in terms of the blocking with the characters and the scene that will be happening in that room. And, when you have your gaffer and your key grip on set, they're paying very close attention to the logistics of what our vision is and what we want to do in terms of shooting this movie, because it's their job to then assemble a list of equipment in the lighting and grip department that is going to help achieve that vision. And they will have suggestions for us. Their job is to let us know whether something seems a little too ambitious or whether it can be achieved in the time frame for which we want to achieve it. So, to have a great, listen, everybody on a film set needs to have a great relationship with most people, but certainly if you have a great relationship with your DP, your gaffer, and your key grip, that is always very important. So they're paying very close attention to what we're talking about, in terms of the visual aesthetic and whatnot, because they will compile a list of the equipment in terms of the lighting and grip department for what they need. And then let's see here. This one. Yeah, this is Naz and Nikita again, just I think Nikita's taking a measurement of the window there. That's the big bay window that sits at the top of the first landing of the stairs. I've shown it in photographs before, but that's what that is there. And he's taking measurement of the window. I believe he's doing that because they're thinking about adding, I don't know if it's curtains. He wants to add something there, I think is what, which will help to diffuse light coming through that window, because obviously most of this takes place at night, and they're discussing with Greg, our DP, how they want to handle the lighting situation when it comes to moonlight or when it comes to all sorts of stuff. So they're going to want to diffuse the light coming through that window there, and that's what they're talking about. And then what else we have here? We have here we are. This is Greg on the left there with his hand up in the air. That's our DP, Greg Bennett. And, of course, our key grip there, Nas to the right. And Greg is talking to Bruce here, actually, about a scene that's taking place in that hallway sort of there right before the stairs. And Greg, of course, has just been great. Everybody's been great. Like, there hasn't been anybody that we've brought on board on this team to make this film a reality that hasn't been great. And Greg especially has been great because he's been there from the very beginning, for all intents and purposes. We approached Greg in February asking if he would like to come on board and be our DP, and he was down from the moment he saw the place, and loved the idea that it's a sequel, so to speak, to one of the most famous Canadian movies ever made, especially in the horror genre, and he was excited to come on board and do this. And Greg is just a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, been doing this kind of thing for 25 years, and he's a real pro. He's the real deal, so we're very excited to work with Greg. And yeah, he's just talking with, I believe he's talking with Yeah, I think he's talking with Bruce. Yeah, I think Nikita's there too. He's talking with Bruce. And of course, I am there talking with them as well. But I decided to snap a few photos because I noticed that, we were all so intense. We were all very into our discussion and very into what we were talking about, that it dawned on me, hey, you know what? We should get some photos to document today because nobody was taking any photos. So Greg was taking photos, and I'll get to his photo in a second. And there's a reason why he was taking it. It's really, really cool. I was unaware of this app even existed, but Greg being a DP makes perfect sense why he would have it. And then there's this photo here. Here I am. This is me. And Greg took this photo. But what's really cool about this photo is Greg has an app on his phone, and I would imagine most professional DPs do have this app if they don't already. The name of the app escapes me, but he has this app on his phone that allows him to circle through the different cameras and different lenses pertaining to that camera. Now, our goal, what we're shooting on, is the Arri Mini, which is a professional cinematic camera. I mean, they shoot Hollywood films on that all the time. And Greg has an app that he can, punch in Arri Mini and go through lenses that gives him an idea right on his phone, right on his app, a general ballpark of the lenses and the sort of the perspective that you would get when we actually bring the camera on location. So this is a shot that we were discussing, myself and Greg. And I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but this was a shot that Greg and I were discussing for the film. And Greg, punched in his app the lens that he felt might be needed for something like this, and just took a photo of me. And when I saw the photo, I was like, geez, that's a hell of an app, man. He's like, yeah, it really helps. Like when you're on set, when you're a professional DP and you know that you're shooting on the Amira or the, the Red Cam or the Red Epic or the, Arri Mini or, whatever the case is, you can punch that into the app and then get a bunch of lens choices for that camera and circle through it, and figuring out how you want to sort of shoot that. And with what lenses. And it's great. Like, what a hell of an app. I mean, it's I think you have to pay for it, though. An app like that certainly wouldn't be free. But yes, we were discussing a very specific shot during this, when this photo was taken. And pretty cool stuff indeed. So, we are doing... There's a lot going on, as you can see. There's a lot going on. Catering companies are being called. Drone operators are being called. Hotels are being called. Rental houses are being called. Trucks are being reserved. I mean, there's every day. And the shot list was done. And myself and Bruce are getting together again, I believe this Friday. Friday is going to be a busy day for me because I actually have an animation voiceover session. My first one back from COVID, which is great. Doing a... Actually, I don't think I can say anything. It's not like a huge thing. It's a kid's thing. But I don't know if they want me to say anything. But anyway, my first job back in the world of animation since the whole COVID thing began. So I have an animation session on Friday, and then Friday night, if time allows, Bruce and I are going to get together and work on the production schedule, because now we have to work on the production schedule. And what a production schedule is essentially is you now have a schedule for what you're shooting on what days, and it's a tight shoot. I mean, we have essentially 6 days. Now we'll be up there for a week, but there are travel days on either end, right? Well, 8 days, I guess, if you're including the day you're on. But we travel up on the Sunday. We start shooting on the Monday through the Saturday, and then we travel back home on the Sunday, right? So it's a full week, and it's a full schedule. So we have to work on the production schedule and allot the times for the things that we want to shoot, what we need to shoot, and so we keep ourselves on schedule, because it is very important with this many crew and a lot of people who are, all those moving parts, as I say, that we keep ourselves on track. And the more that you keep yourselves on track and the more that you're prepared, the more opportunity there is to let loose a little bit and have some fun, because we want to have fun too. We don't want this to be like, boot camp for 6 days, but at the same time, everybody who is working on this project that you've given the opportunity to by donating to the campaign are working professionals in the film industry here in Canada. And so we're very aware that, this is a tight schedule and we got a lot to shoot in 6 days, but we're up for the task. And the more prepared we are going in, the better it will be. And Bruce and I, you're always going to have those pre-shooting jitters, like the night before we go to camera and it's like, okay, but I have never been more prepared on anything else in my life. And I sincerely mean that. In my entire professional life, I've never been more prepared for anything. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be hiccups along the way or things you have to sort of, problem solve. Of course there will be. It's a film set. But there's nothing, we're very prepared. It's one of the things, actually, it's one of the compliments that we've gotten from some of the crew is how prepared we are and how specific we are. Sometimes you can be over specific, but certainly we are very prepared and very excited to work with everybody that has come on board. So that's kind of where we are right now. And, we're just sort of in the trenches at the moment, finalizing those final details, and the actors are excited. We had a table read the other night with our actors, and this is kind of cool. And again, it's everybody is going to feel, it depends on the kind of person you are. But one of our actors during the table read on Sunday, just this past Sunday, actually, we had a table read, and we had our actor of Billy for the first time take part in that, which was great. It was great to introduce him to the rest of the cast, and very, very, very cool. And we had our table read, which was our fourth one. I think we're going to have one more before we go to camera. And one of our actors at the end said, it's been like every table read's been great, but this is the first time that I really felt that this was scary. And that was great to hear. Now, will you find it scary? Who knows? I have no idea. Right? Some people are probably going to like the movie. Some people will love the movie. Some people won't like the movie. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the reality of just art, and movies in general. And you always hope that more people like it than not. But that was great to hear. That was great feedback. And I do think there is the potential of it being frightening, not in a blood, guts, and gore way. Again, this is not Friday the 13th. This isn't A Nightmare on Elm Street. This isn't Texas Chainsaw. This isn't a modern. We're paying very much homage to the original film. So it's a very psychological, and it's a short film. Don't forget that too, right? So it's not going to be like 90 minutes long, but we're very much paying homage to the psychological aspects of Black Christmas and just putting the next installment there, and seeing what you guys think and seeing how you guys feel about it. You know what I mean? So really, really cool. We have, so there's myself, there's Bruce, there's our DP Greg, we have our gaffer, our key grip, we have, have a PA, a couple swings, we have our first assistant camera, our second assistant camera locked as well. We have our drone operator locked, and what else? At the end of the day, at the location, there'll probably be about 18 people, something like that. So it's good. It's good. It's exciting, man. It's really exciting. And every little bit that Bruce and I do, every little bit that we continue to sort of, like on the drive. It's great, actually. What's really cool about driving to the location with Bruce in the twice that we've done it now, there and back, is that it's a 4.5 hour drive. So you have all this time to talk on the way up there, and you have all this time to talk on the way back. You know what I mean? So it really, that's really cool, is that you talk about a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that we've been able to flesh out and sort of get organized in our head just on those road trips, so it really allows us that opportunity and that time to flesh anything out that we might be uncertain about, concerned about, things like that, which has been great too. And if it's just, everybody's excited, man. It's just so good. Oh, and like I said, we're on track. Canada and the province of Ontario is in its second wave right now of COVID. The numbers are stable. They're not, I mean, who knows what could change between now and the end of November. But like I said, if so far as it relates to the film and television industry in Canada, we are still okay. We are still able to go ahead. And obviously, abiding by the rules and regulations. And yeah, if we can go ahead at the end of November, then like I said, you will have you should. It's entirely possible you may not, depending on what happens. But the goal is to have a teaser trailer for you all for Christmas. That's the goal. Teaser trailer now. Teaser trailer. But we already have an idea of what that teaser trailer will be, and I think you'll be. I don't want to say too much, but let's just say you'll probably be happy. So yeah, let's jump over and see what I need your help. I need your help, guys, because when you get so locked into this, you don't know what's going on. Like, I haven't been up on the entertainment news over the last, probably since last week. Has anything happened? Has anything broke? What's been going on? What's been going on in the world of movies? I need you guys to sort of, let me know what's been going on. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any questions about It's Me, Billy, feel free to ask. And if it's something that I think I can answer that isn't going to be a spoiler or give too much away, I will definitely do that. But just want to let you guys know, yes, It's Me, Billy is still happening. Yes, the individual that said, I don't get it, you take the money and there's no movie. We take the money and then we start the process of making a movie. No, we haven't made the movie yet. We have to take the money and we have to allocate it and move into pre-production, and that's what we've been doing. So for you who thinks that I've taken the money and flown off to Italy to start a new life, that is not what's happened, folks. There is a process, and you have to go through that process in stages because we're making a real movie. This isn't something that we can just fly by the seat of our pants on. We have a lot of people, a lot of working parts. It's a $60,000 film. It's not it's a lot going on. So yes, it is happening, and don't worry, it's happening. It's happening, folks. Let's see what you guys are saying, because it's been a while. Like I said, I haven't seen you guys in a while, so I need your help with letting me know what was going on. Everyday Horror says, was $40,000 US really necessary for 30 Minutes Black Christmas sequel? Is 6 days necessary? Serious question. I've looked up the permit equipment and insurance prices, and I'm not sold on the $40K budget, just asking. Well, you have to remember that the $40,000 US, you would have to let me know where you've looked. I don't know where you're located. Remember, we're in Ontario, Canada, where you're located, it may be different. You have to remember that 40,000 US is 60,000 Canadian, right? This is what it's going to. Paying the cast and crew, all the cast and crew gets paid. It is going, not myself or Bruce, we're not getting paid, by the way, but bringing on the people we need to bring on to help make this a reality. That's what you have to do. The rental of the lighting and grip gear. The rental of the location. Let me just give you some insight, okay? Because it's a great question, and I don't mind answering it. The camera package alone, because we're shooting on a cinematic camera. You have to remember that. We're not shooting on a DSLR. We're not shooting on a Canon C300. We're shooting on the Arri Mini. They shot the Joker on the Arri Mini. They shot 1917 on the Arri Mini, right? So you have to keep in mind that we are making this, although it's a fan film and it's a short film, we're making this as professional as possible. The camera package alone with, lighting and, with lenses and the body and the camera body and, everything that's involved in that can be upwards of, $8,000 to $10,000. That's just your camera package. The rental of the location, can be, we have to rent that location for 6 days. Well, actually for 7 days, because it's a travel day and, for 7 nights. And the owners that live in that house are not going to be there when we're shooting. So they're going, they're heading away for the week. and we have to rent out their house for the entire week. Now, I won't tell you how much that's costing, but that's not cheap. This is a professional production. There's insurance involved, and insurance can be several $1,000s because we have to insure, thousands of dollars of equipment. There's the food. We have to feed people for a week. And that could cost, I can tell you right now, because I'm dealing with the catering right now, and I can tell you that feeding 18 people for 7 days is going to cost between about $5,000 or $6,000. Because we have to cater every meal. You have lunch, breakfast, and dinner. That's what you have to do. We're in charge of that. The COVID-19 protocols has also upped the insurance as well. So that's something you have to think about. There's the rental of the trucks. We have, I think, about 2 or 3 16-foot cube trucks that the lighting and grip gear and the camera gear and all the other shit is going into. And we have to rent those trucks by the week, and that has to go up. And those trucks have to be insured, right? Then there's the drone operator. He's got to come in, right? You got to pay for him too. So it adds. And then there's the perks, because the perks, there's a certain percentage that you have to set aside for the perks as well to fulfill those perks, right? So, it's a $60,000 film. Trust me. When you're making a professional production with a crew of this size, which isn't a big crew. I mean, it's a small independent, horror film. But yes, it costs that much. That's just the reality. So what you've said here is good. You've mentioned, where are you here? Where'd you go? Oh no, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Permit, equipment, and insurance. Well, you see, the thing is that when you say permit and equipment and insurance, you have to remember, buddy, you don't know what we're renting. You don't know what we need to achieve the vision. So it's impossible for you to look into the price of equipment when you don't know what equipment we need. I mean, you could have looked into equipment that was, $2,000, but we need $15,000 worth of equipment to achieve what we're doing, right? So although I appreciate you asking the question, you have no idea, which is why you asked it, but it's a little ignorant, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's ignorant to sort of suggest that what you looked into is exactly what our production would cost because of what you looked into. Every production is different. All the needs are different. That's one of the reasons why you do the tech scout, which is what we were doing with our DP, our gaffer, and our key grip. That's what happens, right? Is that you go there and you walk through the process, you walk through the film, and you discuss lighting and grip and what we need to achieve certain things and what needs to be rigged. And, do we need a meerkat with dolly track? Do we need a doorway dolly? Do we need, how much feet of track do we need? Do we need a jib? Do we need a crane? All these things cost money, and to insure it is a lot of money too, So, yes. And, the same question was asked of Vince. Well, geez, it was like a 25-minute movie and it cost $50,000. It's because you have absolutely, and I say this with all due respect, it's because you just don't know how much these things cost. And it's because you don't know the realities of making a movie. Yes, I can look at Vince's production and say, yeah, that cost him that much money. When you factor in all of the things that he's doing to make it look that good, yes, it costs that much money. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind. It's not the length of a movie, right? It's the production value and it's the production value that you are bringing to the production. You can have a 10-minute movie cost you $25,000. If you are using cinema grade cameras, if you're using professional lighting and grip, if you got to rent a location, you got to pay your cast and crew, you got to feed your cast and crew, you got to rent trucks, you got to get insurance, yeah, it adds up 100%. I mean, I'm trying to be mindful because I don't think it's, I'm trying to be mindful that I don't give too much away of the costs because I want to make sure that, because we're not done spending yet, if you know what I mean, we'll know, I can tell you right now, and this is something you have to keep in mind too, is that when you make a movie, you don't arbitrarily just make, like Bruce and I didn't arbitrarily just ask for $60,000 because we thought we would need $60,000. Bruce and I asked for $60,000 Canadian, by the way, because we did a budget breakdown. And that's what you do. That's what professional productions do. They do a budget breakdown of what is it going to cost? How much is renting this house for 7 days going to cost us? How much is feeding 18 people going to cost us? How much is renting this lighting and grip going to cost us? How much is renting this camera going to cost us? How much is renting these trucks going to cost us? How much renting, this going to cost us? How much is this going to and we go through it all, and then we got to pay these people too. How much is this going to cost? How much is this going to cost? How much is this going? And we go through the budget line, right? We go through the line items of everything, props, all that kind of stuff, right? There's props too. Let's not forget. All that, and then we come up with a total. And now that total is always ballpark because, some things might be a little higher, some things might be a little lower, but that is how much it would cost in relation to the budget that we did. So we don't ask, we don't kind of say, well, we'll just ask for 60,000 and see if that's what we need. That's not how you make a professional production. So I appreciate the question. And I sincerely mean that. I do, because you know what? I mean, it's good to be transparent, and I love that you asked that, but it's also important to keep in mind that the things that you've asked, like you said, as I mentioned, the permit, equipment, and insurance, I don't know what you've looked up and how that's like. It's not like it's the same for everything, right? Shooting a movie in Arizona is not going to cost the same as shooting a movie in Ontario, or shooting a movie in, BC is not going to cost the same. There's many different, that's why they're shooting in Carolina, because they can get tax, breaks and all that kind of stuff. Shooting Halloween, So it depends. I don't know where you are. Maybe you can tell me where you are and where you live. Did you respond again? I'm not really sure. No. Okay. But just, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, right? I don't know what you've looked up, and you don't know what our needs are. So therefore it's literally impossible for you to come to a number that would be identical to ours, because you don't know what our needs are and how big our crew is and how much the cost of everything is. Yeah. It's a $60,000 film. 100%. That's what these things cost. Now, can you make this movie for, $5,000? Sure, but it's not going to look as good. It's not going to be as good. Gary Rangel sends in a super chat. Thanks, Gary, and says, Dave, my man, any plans for a campaign relaunch, Dave? Possibly, yeah. We want to get through the filming first, and then move into post-production and see kind of where we're at. And maybe at that point, we might follow a similar path as Vince, in the sense of that wait till we have our teaser or official trailer, maybe the teaser, and then we'll think about maybe relaunching a quick sort of little campaign for those who didn't get a chance to get a Blu-ray, or for those who didn't get a chance to get a t-shirt or something like that. We won't have all the perks there, but something like the Blu-ray or a t-shirt or a hat or something, we might do a quick 2 or 3 week maybe campaign for the stragglers that kind of want to come in and get their chance at getting a Blu-ray. We may do that. And of course, Vince did it as soon as he launched the trailer for Never Hike in the Snow, which is smart, because you launch the trailer, people see the trailer, oh my God, this looks amazing, I want the Blu-ray. That's marketing. That's how you do it. So we may do something similar. But we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at when it comes to post-production. But yeah, there's a lot of working parts when it comes to shooting a film. But just know that, like I said a few moments ago, these numbers are not arbitrarily, it's based on the line items of how much these things cost, and yeah, it's the real deal. It's the real deal. Hey, the horror show, my man, Cecil Laird, my man. I love this man. What does Cecil have to say? Isn't it fun when people reach into our pockets and tell us that they know better than us and how to spend our money? Yeah, I've had a lot. Look, it's and no disrespect to the gentleman who asked the question. I think it's a fair question to ask. Hey, does it really cost that much to make a movie like that? Can you help me understand the process? I think that's fair, right? Because to the average individual who doesn't work in the film industry or doesn't really know, or doesn't know the level for which we're making It's Me, Billy, or Dylan's New Nightmare, or Never Hike in the Snow, or, whatever the case is, when they don't understand that, and that's not their fault, they may be curious. Oh, that's a lot of money. Really? You really need that kind of money? That's cool to ask that. But when you start saying that you yourself have looked into permits, equipment, and this, that, and the other, and it doesn't cost that much, so how can yours cost that much? It's not black and white. There's so many different variables. I mean, you don't know what we need to make our movie. You don't know what it costs up here. You don't know the camera we're shooting on. You don't know you just don't know the people involved. There's so many nuances and information that you're not privy to that it's literally impossible for you to say that, well, I looked into it here and therefore it shouldn't cost that much there. So that's just that's where the ignorance sort of comes in, a bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it does. And Cecil will tell you. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say how much. I'm privy a little bit to some costs on Dylan's New Nightmare, but I'm not going to say anything. But I'll just say that, yeah, costs a lot of money. It ain't cheap. Let me just say it ain't cheap to make me look like Freddy Krueger. Let's just say that, okay? And but that's that. When you're playing at that level, when you're making a professional film, that's what it costs. It's just the reality of the situation. So, and Cecil too. I mean, when Cecil launched his campaign, he wasn't arbitrarily, I think I need this much and I'll do that. It's based on a number of factors that will require him to complete his vision and for it to come to life. So it's crazy. It's unbelievable how much. And again, this is the first time that I've done a movie, and it's not like, this is the first time in my life that I've done a movie at this level. And when I say this level, I mean, this isn't a Hollywood picture, but the process for which we are going through, every single thing you would go through in making a Hollywood major motion picture. We're doing it on a smaller scale because we don't have, we don't have the money and we don't have all the people involved, but the process is the same and it's intense. And what an experience. It's been a hell of an experience so far. It's been really, really cool, so yeah, it's amazing how much things do cost when you, it's not going to cost that much. You're like, oh, really? It costs that much? Holy shit. Okay. So yeah. And I don't take any, I think it was a fair question. I just think that it's literally impossible for you to know how much we can make it for because you don't know the information, you don't know the information, the details and the logistics of our production because every shoot is different, right? I mean, that's like saying, it costs Halloween $10 million to make? I don't know about that, man. I looked into it over here and it's just, it doesn't, it's not how it works. Not how it works. Let me see. Super chat from Cavern of Terror. Cavern of Terror sends in a $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Cavern. I really appreciate it. Hey, Dave, congrats on getting the green light for It's Me, Billy. Thank you very much, buddy. And really getting into the trenches on production. Yeah, we're into the trenches is a good way of saying it, my man. Sadly, my fan film didn't get the budget we were hoping for. Time to gear up for the next project. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, dude. I'm really sorry. What was that? Was that the Scream? I think you were doing Scream, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the Scream project. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I think you said you were launching an Indiegogo campaign too. How did that? You don't have to give details, but I guess it didn't go very well. Did you make enough where you still could go ahead, or maybe to supplement a little bit? Are you still going to go ahead with it, or maybe are you going to do something else? Sorry to hear that, man. Well, that sounded very Canadian. Sorry to hear that. Let me try my American. Sorry to hear that. But yeah, hey, dude, it happens, man. It happens. It happens. It can be really tricky to raise funds. No doubt about that. Let me see here. Chris says, any recent fan films which you thought, I like the creative approach on something particular, which has led you to reevaluate your creative approach in making It's Me, Billy? Chris, man, what a fucking great question. Listen to that question. Now that's going hard into the paint. Any recent fan films which you thought, I like that creative approach on something particular, which has led you to reevaluate your creative approach in making It's Me, Billy? Great question. I can certainly tell you no. I've seen some great fan films, but nothing in particular that has led me to reevaluate what we're doing. And I think that's largely because we have a vision. We know what that vision is. We know what we want to execute. We have the script, we have the shot list. We know that it's ambitious. We know that there are certain things we may have to compromise on. We may have to simplify the shots, right? So for example, say, during the climactic scene of the movie, we have 8 shots during this climactic scene, right? Now that's shots are different than scenes, right? You can have as many shots as you want in a scene, right? But let's say we have 8 shots in this climactic scene, which actually may be correct, if I'm thinking off the top of my head. But it's ambitious. Some of the shots are ambitious. So we may have to simplify that from 8 shots to 4 shots or something like that, and hopefully still achieve the same thing that we want to get. So things like that, but we're already very well aware of that in what we're doing. I haven't seen anything in like a Never Hike in the Snow or Never Hike Alone or Jimmy Champagne's really awesome and cool Halloween fan film, Happy Halloween, which was really well done. I haven't seen anything in those fan films that would make me reevaluate what we're doing because ours is different in a lot of ways. I mean, again, although Black Christmas is one of the earliest slasher movies, it is a slasher film for all intents and purposes. It's got a very strong psychological aspect. I always say that to people because I want people to understand that this is a psychological, it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not a Friday the 13th. We're not going to have blood, guts, and gore and blood spewing all over the place in It's Me, Billy. Ours is more nuanced and not cerebral, but psychological, right? And yeah, I don't think so. And I only think it's because we are confident in what we want. We're confident in our vision, and we know what we want to achieve and execute. If we were not confident and feeling a little wishy-washy or uncertain, maybe there would have been something in one of those films that we're like, oh, maybe we could do that, or oh, maybe we should do that. But there's nothing that I've seen so far that has made me second guess or reevaluate something in It's Me, Billy. Not yet anyway. But great question, man. Fucking love that question. Collector's Digest says, what about Jimmy's Halloween movie? Amazing, right? Yes, absolutely. Really, really well done. My only critique of Jimmy's Halloween movie, and it's largely because I'm a sound guy, and it's what I do all day, every day. I can tell, and that the character that played the police officer, I forget his name now, but the cop there, most of his dialogue, if not all of it, and I don't understand why this much was used, but I can tell most of his dialogue was ADR'd, which means it was added in afterwards. And some of the ADR is not that great. I'll be honest. I can tell it's ADR. Now, if you're listening to it on your phone, you probably don't even notice. You probably don't notice because you're listening to it on your phone. But I have studio monitors here, which are designed to mix and master and all that kind of stuff, right? They're near field monitors. So I can hear it very clearly that this is ADR. And there's a couple of points where the audio kind of peaks a little bit in his ADR and kind of drops. And it wasn't a clean job. It's fine for the fan film. It's not like I couldn't understand what he was saying. I could just tell that it was very apparent that the audio was not recorded in that environment, in that space, that it was added afterwards in post-production. So that's really my only critique, would be that I think maybe they should have spent a little more time on that, or maybe just EQ'd it a bit better, mixed it a bit better to sound like it was in the environment. But other than that, I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was really well done, and it was fun. Really well shot. And I hope they do more. I really hope they do more. And who knows, maybe I could be a part of it. You know, I'd love to be part of something like that. I think it's really cool. The cool thing that they do is that they're getting other people in the space, in the community, in the YouTube space involved. And that's just really awesome. So hats off to Jimmy Champagne and everybody involved in making that film, because it was really cool and really well done. But that would be my only critique. That would be my only critique. Let's see here. DMT Infinity says, Dave, my question of the day is, off the top of your head, if you could have any 5 to 10 actors throughout all of history at your disposal to act in your movies for the rest of your life, who would they be? I have no idea. I don't. I'm 5 to 10. I love this. If you were stranded on a desert island, what 300 movies would you want? I don't know. Harrison Ford, 5. Okay, Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford, Robert De Niro. What's his face? Why am I drawing a blank on his goddamn name? Drawing a blank on his name. Christopher Plummer, that's it. I would love Harrison Ford, Robert De Niro, Christopher Plummer, Tom Hanks. I don't know. And maybe, I'm just thinking of names off the top of my head. I really don't know. That's a really good question, but I don't know. I don't really think about those things, so I'm not really sure. But I'd say, yeah. And then maybe I like, I don't know, Hilary Swank. There's 5. There's an odd one. There's an odd one to toss in there. Cavern of Terror says, unfortunately, we didn't make enough to include any of the cast or crew aside from myself. I'm chalking it up to lack of interest with Scream 5 looming. Thank you for asking. It's entirely possible. It could also be, I don't know your channel very well, obviously. I'm not familiar. I don't know how much you were promoting it or how many subscribers you have, that's, having the reach obviously helps too. And, when you are promoting an Indiegogo campaign, it's a fine line between always being out there, not being too, but it's the kind of thing where I've learned, and, other people have said too, that when you launch an Indiegogo campaign, the work doesn't stop. You don't just launch it and make a couple of posts. I don't know what you did and what you didn't do. I'm just speaking in a general sense, that you have to launch the campaign. And now that the campaign's up, now comes the real work, or the work continues, I should say. And you gotta keep it out there. You gotta keep talking about it, as much as you can, and posting about it. But it also, it's not lost on me that, I have a 22,000 subs. So I have a following. People were interested. I was talking about it for a year. I mentioned that we were going to do this in July of 2019. And I've been talking about it and promoting it. And, it's reach is important, and out of sight, out of mind, and it's thanks to you guys. It's thanks to all you that this is a reality, that It's Me, Billy is a reality. It's going to happen. My God, I can't believe we're like just a month away. Oh my God, these next 4 weeks are going to be insane. Man, you guys are awesome. But you guys are amazing, because, without you, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We would not have been able to do it. Bobby Woodhogan. I like that name. Bobby Woodhogan. I love it. Funny thing is, I'm not even really a Black Christmas fan, or a fan of Black Christmas, but I really am looking forward to It's Me, Billy. Well, that's cool, man. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah. Without giving too much away, It's Me, Billy obviously will be, a 25, 30-minute film. And our goal is to, it's clearly that it will be for Black Christmas fans, but our goal is to, without giving anything away, what you can expect is, mood, atmosphere, come on, this is me here. And it will answer questions that you may have, but it will raise new ones. And that's all you're getting. And I love that kind of stuff, because we don't want to give it all away too soon. Do we? I don't know. Fun stuff. Let me see here. Did I get all the super chats? Let me just double check. I think I did. I think there was only 2, right? Yeah, just 2. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Let me see here. Awoken Nightmare says, Dave, would a potential follow-up to It's Me, Billy be your next project, or would you prefer to make something different first? Sorry if I'm assuming a sequel is even part of your plan. Ooh. Well, I don't want to say too much. I will say that there's always, listen, it ultimately comes down with how well It's Me, Billy does. Now, you might be thinking, well, how is that determined? It's not like you're releasing it at the theater or on streaming and you can, assess the streams or the box office. How do you determine if it does well, so to speak, right? Well, that would be determined online. It would be determined via feedback, via, thumb up, thumb down ratio, via views, right? It's Black Christmas. And Black Christmas isn't going to generate the same interest as a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween, and we know that. However, because of the level for which we're making the movie, and it's going to look, professional, we're hoping and we're hoping that you're obviously that the story is, engaging. We're hoping that it will surprise people, that it's one of those movies that kind of comes out of left field. And that it will do well. Listen, is It's Me, Billy a million view film? I don't know. Never Hike Alone has 1.5 or 1.6 million views. Never Hike in the Snow has been out a week and it already has like 210,000 views. Are we going to generate 210,000 views in a week? Probably not. Why? Because it's Black Christmas. And in the pantheon of horror movies, nobody gives a fuck about Black Christmas. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that in a bigger sense, right? It's Halloween, Friday, Elm Street. But as I said, one of the reasons why we didn't go that route is because it's saturated right now. There's a lot of Friday the 13th fan films coming out. There's a lot of Halloween fan films. There's not a lot of Elm Street films, but certainly Cecil's got that kind of on the go right now. So we just wanted to do something different. And we think there is room for Black Christmas. There is no Black Christmas fan film at all online. There's a couple of amateur ones, but there's nothing really for all intents and purposes. So we saw a window and a hole and a door that we wanted to walk through. And we think that that there is potential for it to do well. You know what I mean? And if it does well and it's well received, and again, what is well? I think if our movie can generate, in its first year, if it can generate, I don't know. Maybe I'm lowballing, but 50,000 views, maybe 40,000 views. Who knows? Maybe it'll get even more. And maybe you might be thinking that's really low because, well, Jimmy Champagne's Happy Halloween already has like 50,000 views in like a week. But that's Halloween. That's Michael Myers, right? You know what I mean? You put together a really good fan film that's going to make 50,000 views in its sleep, right? So because everybody's tuning in, Black Christmas, we're going to have to work a little harder for that. It's Me, Billy's going to have to work a little harder, but hopefully the tender love and care, the TLC that we put into the production of this movie will really show. And people are like, oh my God, you got to check this out, right? And that word of mouth will begin to spread, and then it starts to, that's what we're hoping for. We know we're not going to come out of the gate with 50,000 views in a week unless it really spreads like wildfire. And maybe it will. Maybe it will. You never know, right? That's where we count on you guys. You know what I mean? But we definitely, with all the hard work we've put into it, we definitely know there is the potential here for something really special. Really special. We know that. Now I know what you might be thinking too. You might think, well, you're the director. You have to say that. Well, no, I don't have to say anything. If I didn't truly believe that, you guys know me. If I didn't truly believe that the potential was there for something really special with this, I just wouldn't say anything. I just wouldn't say that to you. I wouldn't say those words. I just wouldn't say anything. But I think it's there. I do. So we'll see though. We'll see how it works. But so you know, is there a chance for more? Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's all I'll say on that. And an original film, oh yeah, I'd love to do something original as well. And that's something to keep in mind too. And I know that Vince has said this and Cecil has said this as well. You know, fan films now, especially when you're doing it in the ways that we're doing it, you know, fan film is the subgenre. It's the category. But when you are making a film like if we were making an original film that wasn't It's Me, Billy, we'd still be going through the same steps, renting the same gear, hiring the same people. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a professional film. You know, it's a fan film, but it's, you know, we want to deliver something really special for you guys because you guys deserve that. The Black Christmas fans deserve that, especially after, you know, we all deserve that. And you are helping to make it a reality, which is really fucking cool, man. And I mean that. Like, I'm humbled all the time to think that you guys made this a reality. Like, it blows me away. I think you guys are awesome. Let me see here. I see a lot of phone emojis and stuff. That's funny. Scrolling. Tom Ungurian says, Dave, instead of a fan film, will you go independently and make a brand new concept like Terrifier? Maybe. I mean, it's going to cost money though. I mean, Terrifier alone, I don't know how much the first Terrifier cost. The second Terrifier, I think was like $250,000 or something like that, you know? So, maybe, I mean, yes, I don't want to make fan films for the rest of my life. I certainly want to make original films. I have an original feature that some of you kind of know what I'm talking about. The name is Port Robinson Road, that has been in development hell, well, probably since I was in college. I have a script. The script would need to be polished a bit and updated, but I have a feature-length script. I have I have a folder on my computer of about 15 short scripts that could all be short films. So I definitely would dive into those. Bruce has got some great ideas for some short film, like original films. So yeah, like we're not at we have ideas for a short film, for a original film for sure. Yep, 100%. And I'd love to do it. Let me see here. Mr. Mousy, pandemic moves may do well right now. Oh, sorry. Pandemic movies may do well right now. Maybe. Oh, dude, you know, when I think of, I don't want to say too much. I will feel a lot better about everything. Sunday, November 29th. Mark that on your calendars, folks. Sunday, November 29th, because that's the day that we would be traveling back to Toronto from our location. So the movie will have been shot. I will, hopefully that is the day as I'm driving back to Toronto, I will feel, we did it. We got it. And of course, now we have to move into post-production. So it's not like the work stops, but certainly I'll feel, okay. You know what I mean? Oh man. Up until that point, I'm just going to be just intense. It's intense. Hey, Darren Sands, my man Darren is here. Oh yeah, Darren, you sent me a message. If you have not checked out the Slaughtered Lambs first episode of their podcast with my moderators Darren and Frank, check it out. The Slaughtered Lamb is the podcast wherever podcasts are downloaded. The Slaughtered Lamb, their first episode was an American werewolf in London. And your next episode, Darren, I'll let you say it. I don't have Facebook up here at the moment. Did you send me that? Like, is that out there now? Is it, can I tell people what it's about, or just say yes, no, or whatever? Cause I think it's, hang on, actually, let me bring it up. I think you said, right. Okay. Yeah. Just give me kind of a yes or no, and then I'll see if, that's okay to do. Simon says, hi, Dave. What's your thoughts on the original Gremlins? Could be a good shout. For two dudes closer to Christmas. I love the original Gremlins. I do. One of my favorite, of course, Joe Dante, I think, was the director of that. Spielberg was involved. Yeah, I like that movie. I actually watched that movie not long ago, a couple of weeks ago. I watched it with my girlfriend. That's a good movie. That's fun. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. And that, I could see that being a two dudes. And if all goes well, two dudes should be returning this Monday. I don't think anything crazy's going on with myself and Tony but we'll have to double check with Tony. Darren says, yes, you can. Okay, so the next episode of The Slaughtered Lamb with Frank and Darren is going to be Flash Gordon. This is a podcast where Frank and Darren are going to dive into movies that not a lot of people talk about. When you come to my channel or you go to the other channel sort of in our spaces. I mean, I tend to veer off every now and then and talk about something, obscure, but generally my channel is talking about sort of the main shit, right? Frank and Darren are diving into they have a podcast, audio only. It's called The Slaughtered Lamb. Their first episode was talking about an American Werewolf in London, which, by the way, I plan to do on this channel, by the way. That is one I definitely want to talk about. But their next episode, they're talking about Flash Gordon. And I'm like, oh my God. I saw that probably when I was like 7. I haven't seen it since. And I know it's sort of parodied and made fun of and whatnot, but I am really looking forward to listening to that episode because I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. That's a movie that I probably won't cover on this channel, so I'll have to tune into you to hear you guys say that. Oh, it's out tomorrow. Okay, so it's out tomorrow on the Facebook group and Friday on all the platforms. Okay, very cool. Awesome. Okay, Darren, you're sending in your Facebook group. Cool. Yeah, check out the Facebook group. Like it, subscribe. I guess, if you like it, you're technically subscribing to it. So it'll be available. That's smart. No, that's smart. I like that. Releasing a little early and then I like it. Support these guys because their first episode was great. They got great chemistry. Their energies match and great insight as well. So definitely check it out because I'm going to check it out too. Tabitha Short, so excited for It's Me, Billy. Thank you, Tabitha. We are as well. We are. Every single day when more and more information happens, we just get more and more excited, and it's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work. Like I said at the beginning of the show today, I've never worked so hard on something in my life. A lot of moving wheels and a lot of moving parts. The Kevin Zone says, Dave, Lori definitely asks, what's the boogeyman at the end of Halloween 100%? No, Kevin, that is not, I'm sorry, but that is not, this isn't my opinion, by the way. I'm not saying that she says it was the boogeyman, like that's my opinion. That actually is what she says. It's in the script. It's in the official script. And it's also been confirmed by Jamie Lee Curtis herself. It's been confirmed by John Carpenter. And as a professional voice actor, somebody who does this kind of thing for a living, working with sound and mixing and audio and mastering, and working with performers and actors, I can tell you that what she says is it was the boogeyman. But as I mentioned in my videos, now that's not to say that that you cannot interpret it that way. It's certainly, you can listen to it and certainly hear, was the boogeyman or what's the boogeyman? You can definitely hear that, but there's reasons why. There's reasons why it sounds that way, but in reality, it isn't actually what she's saying. And I've done videos on this, that she says it was the boogeyman. It gets lost in her performance. And it also makes sense to the arc of her character. We have to remember, too, that Laurie Strode, as I've said many times on this channel, the original Halloween's supposed to be a one-off movie, right? So what happens is that Laurie doesn't believe in the boogeyman. She doesn't believe in the boogeyman. They had no idea that they were going to do sequels. So for all they knew in that first movie, it was a one-and-done film. So her arc was complete, right? So she didn't believe in the boogeyman. Tommy was the one that believed in the boogeyman. Laurie, what's the boogeyman? You can't kill the boogeyman, and Tommy was trying to convince Laurie that there was a boogeyman. And Laurie says what? There's no such thing. Tommy, Halloween's a night where people play tricks on each other. I think Richie was just trying to scare you. She doesn't believe in him. By the end of the movie, she's come full circle. And her arc as a character is complete. And she's been through hell with this guy. And she looks to Dr. Loomis and says, was the boogeyman, right? It was the boogeyman, is what she's saying. Because she's basically saying, oh my God, Tommy was right. It was the boogeyman. That's what she's saying. And Dr. Loomis says, as a matter of fact, it was. So that is what she's saying. Again, that's not my opinion. That is what she's saying. However, like I said, I can see, because for years I thought that too. It's not like I always knew she was saying it was the boogeyman. I had to kind of do a deep dive into this and figure it out, and really assess it, because to try and figure out what is it she's saying. So it certainly does sound like what you're saying, but it's not actually what she's saying. It's not actually what she's saying. It's just it was the boogeyman. That it was, because she said it was the boogeyman. That's how she says it. And it gets lost in her performance. But I certainly can see why people would hear that, because everybody hears that, myself included. Chris Beecham says, "Hey Dave, what are your thoughts on the new Texas Chainsaw reboot?" We'll see. I don't know. I like the 2003 remake by Platinum Dunes. Most of us do. It's one of the better remakes out there. Didn't like the beginning. It didn't really like any of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre films after that. So this is supposed to be another direct sequel to the original. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm always up for, I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. I don't know. We'll see. My hope is that it's good, because, we all want shit like that to be good. We all do. Chris says, "Dave, what aspect of making a movie do you find the most rewarding, and why? Behind the camera or in front of the camera?" Well, I've never made a movie at this level before, in regards to It's Me, Billy, like going through all the stages, utilizing all the connections and the resources we have, and really kind of making a real movie. Again, it's a low budget independent feature, a low budget independent short, but it's a professional film. And so and the only reason why I emphasize that is because it's just to give you the reality of what we're doing. Like all the it's intense. It's intense. And because we're trying to save on budget as well, Bruce and I are not only directors, writers, and producers, we're wearing a few different hats, right? There's a few different hats that we're wearing, because if not, we'd have to raise more money and hire more people, right? You know what I mean? So we're trying to, for our budget, we're trying to kill a few birds with one stone, right? Like Bruce is sort of, for all intents and purposes, during pre-production, Bruce has taken on the role of production manager. You know what I mean? And that's a big job right there, and then, we're sort of like, there's a lot of moving parts that we're doing, and it's very intense. But I would say that my favorite, so I've yet to have experience shooting a movie like this. So that's going to come in like another month. But in the past, on the little shorts that I've done, in the past, I would say probably, I think it's I love shooting, but there's something about post-production, seeing it come together, building your picture lock, doing the sound design and the sound effects, really seeing it come together. I love that. And I imagine that as much fun and as much hard work as it's going to be shooting It's Me, Billy, I think I'm going to enjoy, it'll be the post-production side of things again. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man, there's a different feeling with this one. This is the first time in my life that I've had a real crew, like a crew full of professionals who work in the industry. Because before, it's usually just me and Bruce. And Bruce is a professional who works in the industry, and he's helping me out, but he's my best friend, and I've known him for 30 years. This is the first time that we've actually hired people that we don't know. We know, but we haven't worked with them necessarily. Bruce has worked with our DP before, but I haven't. I'd never met him before in my life. So this is a chance and it's great. It's great forging these relationships and building these connections further. And there were people that I reached out to that I do know, that I wanted to come on board, but they couldn't because of conflicts of schedule and all that kind of stuff. And it's just really cool to have a crew. It's a really cool experience, who are working for you for all intents and purposes, and doing the best they can to help bring your vision to life. It's a pretty cool experience. Like the Tech Scout was really kind of cool. It was kind of surreal. At certain moments I was like, yeah, like these guys are working really hard and talking amongst themselves and asking all these really awesome questions to help us, to help me, to help Bruce, to help us, and that's just awesome. You know, it's a really cool experience. You know, again, I've spent most of my professional career in the entertainment industry as a voice actor. That's where I've spent most of my time. And so, I mean, I have worked on set as a PA a number of times. I did visit the Suicide Squad set because I had a buddy who was a PA, and he invited me down to visit there. So I've been on that set. I was going to visit the It set, but my buddy wasn't working on that one. He was going to, and then he was let go. Forget the reason. I think he had another commitment. I've worked on independent shorts. I've sound designed and sound mixed some independent shorts in my life. And of course, I've done my own little things. So this is a really awesome experience, you know? And like I said, and have said, it's one of the reasons why, like I said to Bruce, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. Like we're going to utilize all our resources and connections that we can and see what we can do. And that's what we've done. And, man, it's fucking exciting, but it's a lot of work. Oh my God, it's a lot of work. Like go make a movie, you know? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And, but it's fun. It's fun, and we're really enjoying ourselves, and we just can't wait for you guys to see what we're working on. Oh my God. Of course, there's still still a lot of time, but Anna M. Pop sends in a $10.99 super pound. Thank you so much, Anna. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Justin Goderich sends in a $5 super chat. Just sends in $5. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate that very much. Justin follows up with, "Hi, Dave, big fan, relatively new to the channel, so I apologize if you've got to this one before. No problem. What are your feelings on the 06 and 19 versions of Black Christmas?" I don't like either of them. Funny enough, and this might sound strange to some of you out there, I actually I don't know. Now, I'm not going to go that far. I don't like either of them. But the 06 version is just a full-on slasher film. Doesn't really leave anything to the imagination, right? I mean, it dives deeper into the backstory of Billy and Agnes. It goes full-on. Billy's got jaundice. I mean, they tip their hat to a few people, but it's nothing that is nothing that's anything like the original. And then, of course, there's the 2019 remake. And I have talked about this before. I think the 2019 remake is garbage, but not because, I'm not one of those people that gets my knickers in a twist when, there's an all-female cast or there's a female director or whatever the case is. I think that's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, somebody said it best, and I forget who said this now. I can't take credit for it because I didn't say it, but it basically summed up exactly how I felt and how most people, I think, felt. The 2019 Black Christmas isn't a movie with a political message. It's a political message with a movie attached to it. And there's nothing wrong with empowering women or anything like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the principle of the message of the 2019 film, but it was beating you over the head with it, and it didn't leave anything to the imagination. It was just chintzy and cheesy. And it was just so, it wasn't subtext, it was like, it's fine if you have it as subtext, but this was very in your face. And it had nothing to do with anything Black Christmas. And I know that they wanted to call it a reimagining, and yeah, but you got rid of what made Black Christmas Black Christmas. There was no Billy, no Agnes. There was nothing to do with that. Yeah, it was Christmas in a sorority house, but it was I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. However, having said that, you guys know me. I'm always honest, with how I'm feeling. I think there was potentially a good movie in there somewhere. And maybe now, because it's not a good movie anyway, but maybe if they had just not called it Black Christmas and called it what the subtitle is of the movie, which is Slay Girls, Slay, S-L-A-Y, just call the movie Slay Girls. Now, I mean, that might insinuate that the girls are bad, and they're the killers, but certainly something else, dark holiday, Slay Girls, anything that doesn't carry the Black Christmas name. And I still don't think I, or maybe even you, would have watched and been like, oh my God, that's amazing. I don't think we would have thought that, but I think we would have been like, but you can't help but feel that this is supposed to be Black Christmas when it's not Black Christmas. Call it something different, kind of like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. If you just called it Season of the Witch, maybe back in 1982, it maybe would have been better received. I don't know. But that's sort of what this is. It's they Season of the Witched it, and has nothing to do with Black Christmas at all. And it's very the political message is just, it's too on the nose. It's not. It's patronizing. It's condescending. It's pretentious. And it's just not. I don't want to. And it's not because I'm a man. I know women. Strong, independent women who have said to me, "Don't fucking patronize me." Like they feel patronized watching the movie. Now, does that mean all women didn't like it? No, I'm sure there were some that loved it and really enjoyed it. Fair enough. But I just didn't think it wasn't Black. Call it something else. They should have called it something else instead of riding the coattails of the IP. And I can't help but feel, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I have no evidence of this, okay? So this is just circumstantial evidence. But not long before Blumhouse announced making a Black Christmas movie with female writers and a female director and an all-female cast, which would be we have an all-female cast too, so that's not a thing. But several months before that, Jason Blum got himself into some hot water over a quote about female horror directors. Now, when I read the quote, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought it was fine. I thought people were getting their knickers in a twist over fuck all, over nothing. And I thought what he said was, he didn't say anything rude or it didn't, what he said was, I was like, yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's my opinion. People obviously, it's, oh my God, and he's on the verge of being canceled and, whatever the case is. And I thought what he said was fine. I thought I understood what he was saying, nuance, right? They want nuance. So then it's like, 4 or 5 months later, suddenly Black Christmas gets announced. Now, was Black Christmas in development long before that? Maybe. But I can't help but feel that maybe this was also Blum's way of saying, see, we hire female directors. Yes, we do. See, we can do this. We can have female centric. It's just the timing was very kind of, you know what I mean? Little suspect to me. So there's that angle too. But yeah, it just wasn't a very good movie. But it could have been. I like the lead a lot. I forget her name now, but I like the lead. I thought she was terrific, but man, is it, a little condescending, and the fact that they cut it from PG-13 from R to PG-13, because you can tell there were things in there that were cut. There's awkward cuts that they showed more, but they edited it down to PG-13. And I believe they even said as much that, yeah, we made it PG-13 so we could get more young girls into the audience. That's why they did that. And it's kind of like, it just feels, it's like there's nothing wrong with lifting women up. I'm all for lifting women up, man. Like, fuck yeah, come on. And especially in the film industry. And I can tell you that there's a lot of sexism and misogynistic shit that goes on in the film industry and in the entertainment industry. There is. I'm all for that. I think we all are. But it's the way you do it. You don't want to alienate people in the process of doing it as well. And like I said, there's a lot of women out there that I know, that have been like, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like I'm dumb. You don't have to make a movie that's pandering to me in that way. And, I don't know. I don't speak for all women, of course. I'm just saying some of the women I've talked to have said that. But that's them. Let me see here. Super chat from Dexter Morgan. Ooh, Dexter Morgan. I hear Dexter's back. Dave, have you ever considered relocating to Los Angeles for work? Do you think your career would benefit? See Jimmy Champagne's Halloween fan film. I did see Jimmy Champagne's Halloween fan film. Well, listen, anybody working in Los Angeles, which is the entertainment capital of the world, essentially, their career could benefit. However, that doesn't mean your career is necessarily going to benefit, but certainly being in that location, because that is where the vast majority of the studios are and the production companies and things like that. Yes, there is that opportunity. However, being based in Toronto, which is essentially the Los Angeles and New York of Canada, Vancouver is as well because of its trajectory with Los Angeles. But Toronto, all of the major production companies and studios, their locations are based here. And our film and television industries with the States, they're interconnected. They shoot all the time up here in Toronto. I mean, they don't call it Hollywood North for nothing, right? And so being here, I do work that's based in Los Angeles all the time. But the great thing about voiceover work, now you may be talking about filmmaking, but with voiceover, I phone patch and source connect and ISDN into studios all the time in Los Angeles. So I mean, again, would it benefit? Sure, it would, but with voiceover is a little different. Yeah, I mean, I do, lots of ads that air in the States, and I'm always usually hooking up with recording studios either in New York or Los Angeles or Chicago. I think what was that? I think the Slim Jim ads I did were I hooked up with a studio in Chicago, I think. But yes, I mean, it's certainly can be on the radar. But we also have to remember that a Canadian can't just pick up and move to LA. There's a couple of ways that can be done. You can obviously apply for your green card. You can go through that way and all that kind of stuff. But to be a permanent resident there and live there, one way of doing it, of course, is that there is somebody you get your visa, obviously, not just a working visa, but a permanent residency, like that's what you're doing, is to move to LA. And a lot of the times, if you are hired for a job in LA, if a studio or production company wants you, but you're Canadian, they will have to pay for you to come to the States, to work in the States, pay for the visa, all that kind of stuff. It can be thousands of dollars. It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap, that's for sure. But yes, would I move to LA if it required me to? Yes. Would I move to LA now? Probably not, because most of the things, like I get auditions and I do work, like I said, that's out there all the time now. And it's largely because our entertainment industries are so connected, but would I move out there if I could? And it's very expensive. I mean, fucking 1-bedroom house is like $1 million. It's insane. I'm dead serious. Like you can move into like just a neighborhood in LA and have like a 1 or 2 bedroom house and it could be like $1.5 million. I'm not kidding. The real estate out there is insane. And for those of you that live in LA, know what I'm talking about. So it's insane. But yeah, no, I'm certainly not against the idea. Certainly not against the idea. No. And yes, did see Jimmy Champagne's Halloween film. It was great. Andrew Stevens says, $10 super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Says, making my hair stand up just hearing your excitement and passion of having It's Me, Billy come together. Dave, I'm very happy for you for this project. Knock it out of the ballpark, brother. Thank you so much, Andrew. Love the enthusiasm, love the support. We're working hard, man. We know there's pressure. We know there's people that are counting on us. We know that we have backers that have, donated their hard-earned money to help make this thing a reality. And that's what you did. I mean, those 2 months in the summer, July and August, that was your turn. You know what I mean? And you handed us that torch and we've taken off and now we're going to do our best to deliver on something pretty special. So I really appreciate you saying that, man. Thanks so much. Thank you. Let me see here. Tom Hungarian says, I like Sofia Takal, though. She came from VHS, just like Adam Wingard, Radio Silence, and other good filmmakers. I'm not as familiar with Sofia Takal, but I have nothing against her. I mean, I'm sure I would love to see what else she does. Yeah. You see, this is the thing, too, is that for me, and I can't speak, look, are there people out there that are just fucking pissed off that it had women in it and because they're misogynistic pieces of shit? Yeah, I'm sure there are. That's not my issue. I couldn't give a frog's fat ass who directs the movie. I really don't care. I really don't care. I'm talking about the film and how it has nothing to do with the original and how that the movie is just one big PSA. I mean, it doesn't, and I would say the same thing if it was, I know what you're going to say, but again, add nuance. I would say the same thing if it was all men, and there was some big, you're watching the movie and you're like, well, this is kind of, a little pretentious and in your face. I'd say the same thing. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're black or white or Asian or purple or green, gay. I don't care. I really don't. I don't give a frog's fat ass what color you are, what race you are, who you sleep with. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because I am a firm believer in what Martin Luther King said, that it's not the color of your skin, it's it's your character, essentially. I don't know the quote off the top of my head, but it's true. I judge people what you do. It's your character. I don't care. I don't care if you sleep with men or women and you're a guy. I don't care. What the fuck do I care about that for? I don't care. I just want to hang around with talented, smart, funny people. Good people. Good people. That's all I care about. So my issues with Black Christmas, I don't care that it's fine. But it's not Black Christmas. That's my problem. You know what I mean? That's my problem. Now, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, that's how I've always lived my life. I mean, one of my best friends growing up, I remember she was gay. She is gay. But I was there through her coming out kind of thing, and that really helped me to gain a perspective on that. Like we were teenagers, I think it was. And you could kind of tell, she was, that she probably was, right? But yeah, like it just, I don't care. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Why do we care about that shit? Who cares? I don't care. Can you do the job? Are you a nice person? Do you treat me well? Great. Who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I really don't care. Robert Thidoff. Robert, my man, says, Dave, in your opinion, what is the best area in Canada to film a movie for studios? My home state of Ohio filmed all the scenes of the Shawshank Redemption except the last scene filmed in St. Croix. Croix, I think, right? Well, it all depends, Robert, I guess, what you're going for. I mean, if you want the mountains of Colorado, but you want to film in Canada, well, then you would go to Alberta or BC. If you want, the Midwest vibe, you know what I mean? Like, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maine, Illinois, Michigan, you want Indiana. If you want the Midwest, Northeast kind of vibe, then you would come here to Ontario, because that's basically what we are here. That's what we are. Ontario, Quebec, yeah, that's where you'd go. So I just think now if you want kind of like a Maine vibe, with the ocean, small town by the ocean, but you want to shoot in Canada, well, then you'd go to like Newfoundland or Nova Scotia or, whatever the case is, right? So it all depends on what you're going for. Like the only thing we don't, like we have every terrain and climate that the US has, except for tropical. We don't have tropical, of course. But the southern states, like your Arizona and your Florida, and we don't have those, we don't have a desert province. You know what I mean? So we don't have that. But in terms of just like your Midwest, Northeast, Northwest, like Washington, Seattle kind of area. Yeah, we have all that here. So it just all depends on what you're going for, I guess, what you're going for. I mean, they shoot up here all the time. Like I say that a lot, but it's true. I mean, all the time. I mean, we have like, it's insane how many movies you've watched that have been New York or Chicago, but are actually Toronto. Well, they're up there. I think they're up here right now. That movie starring Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson, which is actually a movie called The Man from Toronto. Actually, that is actually the name of the movie. They're up here shooting that now. But there's all sorts. They shoot Star Trek Discovery up here. They shot both It Chapter 1 and 2 up here. The Shape of Water was shot up here. Like all the time, always shooting films up here. Rio Reveal says they call Toronto Little Hollywood. No, well, I don't think there's anything little about it. It's called Hollywood North is what I've never heard Little Hollywood. Maybe they do. That's not something I've heard. I've heard Hollywood North, and they share that title with Vancouver because obviously, like I said, the trajectory with Vancouver, because it's right essentially, on the same line as LA, it's easier to get to. They shoot up there a lot too. A lot of the television shows like Supergirl and all that kind of fucking shit. A lot of those shows are shot up in Vancouver. Yeah, but no, I mean, you're right. Essentially, real. You are right. Let's see here. Johnny T says, "How do you and Bruce manage to balance all the work that goes into It's Me, Billy, and your day jobs?" It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not. Especially for Bruce, because Bruce is, as you know, he's the National Manager of Education and Training at William F. White. That's the name of the company. We call it White's for short, but it's William F. White, I assume was the name of the guy. That's Canada's largest rental house for lighting and grip gear. They rent cameras too, but I don't think they're the largest. But in terms of lighting and grip gear, they are Canada's largest supplier. And Bruce is the National Manager of Education Training there. Well, that's a 9 to 5 kind of job, right? Now, because of COVID, he's not going into the office, but he's still working at home from 9 to 5. My job has a little more wiggle room, right? I can do this show. Myself and my assistant have scheduled that. Being a professional voice actor isn't a 9 to 5 job. I have some voiceover work I have to do this afternoon. And then I have an animation session on Friday. There's always things I'm doing, but I have a little more of that. Yeah, there's a little more wiggle room for me. But for Bruce, I know it's extra tough for him too. Because sometimes when he's done at 5, then he jumps right into the movie. So he's having 12-hour days. It's intense. Yeah, it's tough. But you know what's funny about it though, dude? We wouldn't rather be doing anything else. This is what we were made to do. This is what we want to do. 12-hour day? Done. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, I'd rather have a 12-hour day putting a movie together than a 12-hour day doing something that I'm miserable doing. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's long. But it's still pretty cool. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes here. I've been on here for 1 hour and 32 minutes. We'll go for a couple more minutes, and then we will call it a day. You guys are amazing. Let me see here. Michael Dean says, "Dave, I wish I was able to catch your videos, but I work so much. But how did you find those 3 girls for It's Me, Billy? Are they from a school or something?" No, these the girls are Victoria Miro, Shelby Handley, and Malika Henny. And they are professional actors in Toronto. We put out a casting call, an open casting call. We received through the proper channels, of course, not like in the newspaper, through the proper casting portals. And they submitted to be considered for an audition. We auditioned between the roles, the 3 ladies, there were about 300 submissions. Well, we didn't have time to see 300 people. So obviously what you do is you weed through the auditions, and we picked the best, I think it was 10 or 15 of each role. And we sent those 10 or 15 sides, which is just a section of the script, to audition, instructions, blah, blah, blah. Nuance in their performances was great. I've said this before and I'll say it. Oh, wait, are we back? Okay. I think we're back. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely YouTube. Ooh. I don't know how long this thing's going to last. It's definitely YouTube. We're here. We're here. Am I on? Am I live? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Yeah, you guys can hear me. I'm back. Yeah, that's so strange. I don't know how long this thing's going to last. YouTube, it's raining here. It is pouring rain. Maybe I don't know. Fuck, who knows, right? At least I'm not the only one that sometimes has these issues. But who the hell knows? What was the last thing I said? And then we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up. But what was the last thing I said? Who knows how long this is going to last, folks? I have no idea. I've restarted everything, but it is finicky. And it says I got a poor connection. So, well, actually, now it says excellent connection. It says excellent connection. I think I'm going to wrap up the show there, folks, just to be safe. I was talking about the actresses. I was, we hired the actresses through, obviously the proper channels. They did the best auditions. We believe their performances. I was saying this before we got cut off. I was saying that Shelby and Victoria, I spliced their auditions together and watched them talk to each other in their audition, even though they weren't actually talking to each other. And it cut together seamlessly. It was amazing. And they weren't auditioning opposite each other. That's how good they were. I believed their performances. So all the actors were done by a online. We're all. It was an open casting call, and like I said, done through the proper casting call channels, and they were the ones that were the best, and they're very talented, very talented. And part of what we were looking for with Victoria, who's our lead, Sam, was somebody who resembled, or at least had the essence of an Olivia Hussey, because she plays Jess Bradford's granddaughter, Olivia Hussey. She plays Olivia Hussey's character, Jess Bradford, excuse me. Let me try that again. Olivia Hussey plays Jess Bradford in the original Black Christmas. And Victoria Miro, who plays Sam, is playing her granddaughter in this movie. So although listen, talent will ultimately win out. Shelby could have probably played, Sam as well. She's very talented too. But it was just so great that Victoria had a strong resemblance to a young Olivia Hussey, so that you could look at her and believe that she was her granddaughter. You know what I mean? You could believe that. So we were excited about that, and that's how we did it. And but yeah, they've done a lot of short films and TV and theater and movies too, and things like that. They're very talented, and but that's how it came to be. I'm still on, I can see. Who knows what the fuck happened? No idea, but I have to end the show now. Let me see here. Frank Riker just puts in mean faces. Oh, did I miss a super chat, Frank? Frank Riker for the sexy MFers in the chat. Thank you so much, Frank. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you for doing that. Really appreciate that. Chris says, how amazing was it? Trump voice, amazing. Tremendous. I love it. It's great. It's great. It's amazing. It's amazing. Danita Brown talking to Frank. H2 Finest says if Frank does his own podcast, he can call it Rikers Island. Ooh. I like that. I like that. I like that. Yes, I'm back. Darren says you're back. Kind of. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back now. I don't know. Fuck. Sometimes I get great shows. Other times YouTube not. And this was a YouTube thing again. It's not an internet thing. It's a YouTube thing. I don't know what happened. I thought it was internet at first, but it kept saying I have an excellent connection. And I'm like, well, because I should have an excellent connection. YouTube. Now it's fine. See, now it's fine. It's like, the fuck is going on? No idea. I'll talk for a little longer here, just a few more minutes. Just to make up for that. Gary Rangel says, Dave, did you get your Friday the 13th box set? No, I didn't order one. I couldn't justify the $200 Canadian it was going to cost. So, I'll wait till some other time. Let me see. Yeah, that's through the hiccup there. Goomba Johnny says, Dave, for all the time and effort you and Bruce put in, why not budget to compensate yourselves as well? Well, because it's not in the budget. We want to make sure that we are. Yeah, for those who don't know, myself and Bruce are not getting paid. We're paying the crew and the cast, of course, because they're outside. I mean, we are hiring them to come on board. So if we did that, we would have had to have asked for more money. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep it where it was. We didn't even think we were going to reach 60,000 folks. I mean, it is incredible that we did. And like I said, that's you guys. You guys are amazing. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this. Seriously. So we knew, we didn't, I mean, listen, I know I have, a following here. I know I have but I didn't know how much we were going to raise. I knew we would raise something, but I didn't know how much. And the fact that we actually exceeded our budget, we raised 106%. Now, keep in mind that Indiegogo also takes, a portion of that as well. But the fact that we reached that was amazing. And, but we wanted to put it all into the production, hiring the right people, getting the right equipment, hiring the right, getting the location, the insurance, the food, everything that it costs to make a movie, and we wanted to put in it all into that. And of course the perks as well, which is what we've done. So, yeah, we're doing it, man. We are doing it. We are doing it. The Cool Toad says, can you check me out right now? Yes, Cool Toad. You are cool. There you go. I checked you out. Evil Alex says, Dave, did you see Triangle? Great mindfuck horror. Check it out. I haven't seen Triangle. Is it on Netflix, Evil Alex? Is it on Netflix? If it's on Netflix, then yes, I will check it out. Danita Brown says, have a good one, everyone. See you next time. Take care, Danita. Take care and stay safe. Darren Sand says, Rikers Island, just one giant hot tub full of gym. That is funny. Yes, and if Frank does do a podcast called Rikers Island, the logo has to be a hot tub with Frank sitting in the hot tub with women on either side of him, but it's silhouetted, right? So it's just like it's like a black and white silhouette. That's the logo. But you're in the hot tub, women on either side of you, and a cigar in your mouth, and you're just like this. That's what it's got to be. Rikers Island, the podcast you didn't know you wanted, the podcast you didn't know you needed. That's how it's got to be. Caleb Ella says, I knew you'd do it, and we're very anticipated. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Amazing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't know how much we'd raise. I really had no idea. But the fact that we did it. I mean, Intel Wild, I don't know if Intel's in here right now, but he was right. He was right. We did it and then some. And that's thanks to you guys. I mean, it's not lost on us that that we're able to do this because of you. And it sounds a little cheesy and a little cliche and a little sort of, but it's true. It's true. It's the reality. It's the reality. You helped to make this a reality. So we wanted it all to go right back into the production. Real Reveal says, when will some of the perks be shipped? Great question. Well, it will be after the movie is shot for sure. Because that's where our focus is right now. I mean, obviously we can't ship Blu-rays because we haven't even made the Blu-rays yet, because there's no movie yet. You know what I mean? And so there's nothing to put on the Blu-ray. So the Blu-rays won't be till well into next year. T-shirts we have to get made up. The T-shirt that you see me wearing sometimes, that's what your T-shirt is going to look like. Posters, by the way. Official poster. Before I let you guys go, this is the official poster here. This is what your poster will look like. For those of you that got the official poster, there it is. Right there. That's the official poster there. That's it. The official poster. The billing block is at the bottom of the poster, but I want to keep that a little secret for now. And so posters, all that kind of stuff. It'll be after the movie is shot. I think in December we'll be able to start shipping things. Actually, yes, and I'm going to start. Where did the elastic go? I have no idea. Here it is. And I do have for those of you that purchased a Lynn Griffin Christmas ornament. Who in the chat room purchased a Lynn Griffin Christmas ornament? Lynn Griffin, of course, is the actress that played Claire in the original Black Christmas, the one with a bag over her head that was killed. She's been a great supporter of what we're doing, and she's been tremendous. And for those of you that did order the Lynn Griffin Christmas ornament perk, just wondering if anybody here did. I know Real did. Yeah, absolutely. Did anybody else here order that? There were 20 that were available, and they went like hotcakes. I mean, it was unbelievable. Jonathan Nichols says, I missed out on that. Yeah, a lot of people did, because there were only 20 that we had available. They did. Yeah, they sold out within like minutes, dude. I'm not kidding. Anyway, I'll give you a sneak peek. Here you go. There they are. Let's see if we can get that in there. I don't know if you can see that. Lynn has signed these, by the way. You can see her signature on the bottom there. So there they are. And so I'm hoping to get these out to you guys soon. Those will be out to you soon. But after the movie's shot, that's when we move into post-production and we start working on, I'm hoping in December, actually, I'm going to start to get some of you guys on McRae Live. For those of you that picked a perk where that was an option, like all my associate producers, I'm hoping I can start that in December. You know what I mean? So it's coming. And the two dudes thing will probably be in the new year, early new year, January. It's coming. We haven't forgotten about you guys. It's been a little quiet, I know, at the moment. But that's just because we're trying to get the movie going. You know what I mean? So yes, definitely coming. Definitely coming. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for me for episode 115 of McRae Live here on this Wednesday. I don't usually do it on Wednesday. My apologies again for the hiccup that happened, but you know, it's out of my control. Fucking everything's fine now. Everything's fine. Fucking YouTube, fine. And it's so frustrating because when it was knocking me off, it kept saying excellent connection. I'm like, well, then don't fucking knock me off, YouTube. What are you doing? Sometimes I think they do that just because there's some weird kind of like conspiracy going on or something. No, I actually don't think that, but that'd be a creepy movie though. All right, guys. Yeah, take care of yourselves. We'll be back. I should be back tomorrow. I mean, I'll let you guys know if something comes up, but I will be back. Should be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you to my moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tab of the Short, Darren Sands. Really appreciate it. Thank you to the Super Chat questions. Really appreciate it. The non-Super Chat questions. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Trust me. Trust me more than you know. I'm telling you right now. So the last thing I'm leaving you with is Donald Trump saying that. Oh my God. So have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.